sorry, the number you have reached is not service. Please check the number or try your call again. This is a recording.
Are you listening?
Hello there.
I'm Darius.
And I'm Sam.
And welcome to the Oxfordshire Youth Podcast. This podcast is by young people, for young people, just to talk about the things that we care about.
We're here to give you a voice, whether that's the voice of your creativity, your professionalism, or just something that you're doing that you feel needs to be spoken about.
And if you want to get in touch and actually get on this podcast, you really can.
We don't bite. I mean, we promise.
And we promise. But the real question here is, are you listening?
I mean, are you listening?
Are you listening?
Are you listening?
Let's just get on into the podcast. Welcome back to the Black Lives Matter mini-series. There are some themes within this mini-series that may be upsetting to you. If it is triggering to you, themes of racism, bullying, and various other things, please we implore you to listen to another one of our podcasts that will be much more beneficial to you. Thank you, and we hope you enjoyed the Black Lives Matter mini-series. Let's get into it right now.
We are here to plead solidarity with our US brothers, but our struggles are intertwined. Our global struggle is one. We talk about Black Lives Matters. When I was in Black Belize 2 days ago, people came in and said Black Lives Matters and other lives matters. No, I will tell you why. We say Black Lives Matters and we do not apologize. We are the most undervalued.
So, Ariya, I'm going to pick up on something that you said a bit earlier. You were saying about someone being nice doesn't mean that they're not racist, which I think is extremely interesting because so many people love to say like, oh, no, I'm a great person, I'm a lovely person, like, I'm not racist. But being
they're two different things.
Exactly, because they are not mutually exclusive. You can be a lovely person, you can give like loads of money to charity, you can do all of the great things, but you can still be racist. Because denying that you are not racist, like saying that you're not racist, doesn't make you anti-racist, because there is a big difference. And I think it's extremely important to have those conversations. And specifically with that conversation that you had with your dad, which thank you so much for sharing, because I'm sure that wasn't an easy thing to share. When you look at social media, the world, governments and everything, and you see people being... Ice cream, I know, like...
Look at all your videos, I swear.
Legit, like, ice cream van, like, everyone who's listening, I'm so sorry, like, if you heard the ice cream van, I ain't getting ice cream, it's like one of the hottest days of the year, but, like, just pray for me, the fact that I'm not getting ice cream, like, anyway. Like, what are your opinions on, like, people being called out, the whole call-out culture? Because there is a huge difference between call-out culture and cancel culture. What are your opinions on it, Ariya?
Okay, I have an interesting opinion on this, and I think some people may not agree with it. I don't really like call-out culture in the sense that it's done with intentions to embarrass someone. I don't like that. I think when because I know a lot of it happens on Twitter, fine. It has to, if you're going to put a racist tweet out there, people are going to come and call you out, fine. And that's intentional if you're intentionally doing that. But I think that sometimes people don't realize they're being racist, and they don't have the education to comprehend that what they're saying is racist. They don't know the history, they don't know, the cultures, and they just say something without knowing any better. And then if you are to go and call someone out in front of everyone, like in front of people, and embarrass them, that you're only going to push them further away from wanting to find out and learn about Black Lives Matter and any other, racist movements and stuff. The more you embarrass someone rather than listen and educate them. Sorry, can you hear that horn? I don't know what's going on. What I'm trying to say is that I think, it's necessary, call-out culture. Yeah, it's absolutely necessary, but it needs to be done with sensitivity, I think.
And the right intentions.
Exactly, and the right intentions, because when people are racist, it's more often than not because they're misinformed. and they don't know any better. Because I think, growing up, if you're not black, you don't know what it's like to be a black person until someone tells you, or you go and read about it, or you go and learn about it. And there are lots of people who have literally never interacted with a person of color. So many of my white friends have told me I'm their only person of color friend. And that shocks me. And I'm like, whoa, okay, so you barely know what it's like to be, a person of color, let alone a black person. Do you know what I mean? So imagine someone like that accidentally, well, not accidentally, but do you know what I mean? Saying something racist without realizing it's racist. And then someone comes at them and goes, oh my gosh, you're racist, you're this, you're that, you're that. Look at this person, look at this. And they're just going to feel so awful about themselves, having not known any better. Whereas I think it's better to approach it in a way that you go, hey, look, what you said actually has some racist connotations. And I know you seem like a really lovely person and stuff. And I just want to know, what are your intentions behind that statement? They'll explain it. You'll realize that they don't actually mean to be racist. They literally did not know any better. But sometimes there are really disgusting people out there and they need to be called out. Absolutely.
Yeah. Jenny, what's your opinions on call-out culture?
I feel like kind of the same. Like, I think it's important to call people out so that they can acknowledge their own behaviour and actions and the consequences that they have on other people. But I think it's important to call them out so that they can learn from the mistakes that they've made, and so that they can do the research to better themselves, so that they know in the future that isn't okay. But I think it's important for them to acknowledge it and be like, okay, I didn't know any better at the time, but I've educated myself now. Yeah,
definitely. I agree. I feel like I agree with everything that both of you said, because I feel like, yes, it does, your intentions behind why someone said something, or why you're calling someone out on something, your intentions behind that are important as well. Because you could just be calling someone out in order to cancel them, and that's why I think there's a difference between, you can call someone out and not cancel them, but then you can also call someone out and then go and cancel them, which you see a lot on social media. I mean, sometimes, depending on the situation and who they are, or the public figure or whatever, sometimes it's kind of inevitable. So if they have a big brand and they do something repeatedly that is racist, and they're told that it's racist, and they continue to do so, then people using their own power being like, I'm not going to spend my money in a place with someone who is actively racist. Therefore, that will look like it is cancel culture, because they are being cancelled financially. Whereas all of these people they're not necessarily cancelling that person, they're just being like, hey, they should realise, after they've been told that, no, this is wrong, they've been called out being like, this is wrong, educate yourself, here's how you educate yourself, all the information is here, and they can still continue to do so. At that point, even at that point, I personally don't think it's acceptable to cancel someone, but I feel like if people are taking their power and being like, no, I'm not spending my money with this person, or not watching this person, or subscribing to this person, that's also completely fine as well.
Yeah, I agree with you, Darius. Yeah. I agree. I think it's important to realize there are other ways of, teaching someone a lesson rather than just cancelling them. There are other ways, like you said, unsubscribing, unfollowing, sending them a message saying, hey, look, this is not cool, calling them out essentially, and stop giving your money to that brand and stuff. I completely agree with you. I think that cancelling someone is, it's harsh, because people can change and people can, but I mean, like you said, if you repeatedly told, and these brands have been repeatedly told, stop doing this, and they don't do it, just don't give your money to them. That's the only thing you can do. Start a movement within yourself and don't give any attention to that brand, and then they'll have no choice but to try and make money and make amends with their audience, I guess.
I feel so what's just come to mind is the whole Shane Dawson and Jenna Marbles situation.
Yeah.
I don't know if you know about that, but Jenna Marbles didn't feel like she wasn't called out, but she willingly put herself in the spotlight, came out, acknowledged her behaviour, and was like, this isn't who I am, this was 10 years ago. but like Shane Dawson, but then obviously I feel like Shane Dawson saw that people like, oh, thank you for acknowledging that and understanding that you've hurt us, and then tried to do the same thing so that he'd get out of all of the stuff that he'd done. But it didn't go down well because he was kind of being like, oh, I'm sorry you felt hurt, making them seem like it's their fault for being offended, if that makes sense.
What
Like,
was it
I
that
feel
Shane
like
Dawson did? I actually don't know. I know about the Jenna thing, but not.
he had a character based on like black stereotypes called Shanae. And he had a lot of videos to do with her. And obviously it was very harmful for like the black community because the stereotypes that he was putting forward. And I'm sure there's like other things like that we can go into about him, but it's not really relevant to the topic at hand.
Yeah, I completely agree because I feel like the difference between them is because I feel like Jenna was quite genuine in her apology, but Shane and also, I mean, I didn't particularly want to bring him up, but I will do. Also, Jeffree Star was extremely performative because it was just kind of like, it's your fault for being offended. And then, I mean, Jeffree Star had the audacity to say there's a new palette coming soon at the end of his video. And I'm like, really? Like, this was meant to be an apology for you to say that I'm sorry for being racist. And then you promoted your own palette. That's not the time. That's not the time or the place.
It's going to be like monetized though as well because they're going to want it to get on trending, so they'll make money from that. The only reason that I'd find that acceptable is if the money that they earn from that video is donated to charities. That's the only way that I would find that at all acceptable. But no, but he's just doing it to promote himself and to get more money. That's human.
I mean, like, this, I mean, let's be honest, this is the first and hopefully the last time that I have to bring up Jeffree Star and Shane Dawson on this podcast again. So, we're going to move on.
Sorry.
Girl, that's okay, because I knew they were going to be brought up, because I've been trying to, like, subtly bring them up without saying their names, but it's cool, it's cool.
You got the message, it's fine.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's cool, because, like, they're questionable. That's the best way I'll put it. They're questionable. So the last kind of questions. What does Black Lives Matter mean to you both? Like, because obviously for different people it means different things. Earlier on in this mini-series, I spoke to some young gifted and black people talking about what it means to them. And for a lot of us, it's about like legacy, protection for children when we eventually have children, and things like that. But I've never considered like what it could mean for other races. I'm really intrigued to find out what it means for you guys. So, Ariya, what does Black Lives Matter mean to you?
For me, it means it's an absolute necessity that I want to apply to my life every single day. It's something that I think should be spoken about every single day because it's happening every single day. Do you know what I mean? The effects of it happen to Black people every single day. The fact that Black lives do not matter to people. And that's not okay with me. That doesn't sit right with me. And I want my life to be something meaningful. And I want to be part of the Black Lives Matter movement. And I want to push it forward and encourage it amongst my family and friends. And I think that lifting up Black creatives and Black entrepreneurs is something I'm very passionate about, because I think being a fairer skinned person of color, you know, and just being Indian as well, you know, I have so much privilege, and it would be a shame if I didn't use that essentially to help change things in this world. If I didn't use my voice to help Black people, if that makes sense. Like, I just think it's not fair that, you know, I've had so many opportunities in my life that, you know, my Black best friend may not have because of her skin color, because of her ethnicity. And I think that's not fair. And I want that to change dramatically, not only for her, but the entire Black community.
Jenny, what does Black Lives Matter mean to you?
I think it's about ensuring that Black people have as many opportunities that we have, and that they have. I was thinking about this and it's completely gone from my head. But yeah, no, it's about like ensuring that they've got as many opportunities, ensuring that they've got as much privilege as us. Because not right. You know. But yeah, but I think it's important that we obviously ensure to help our own friends or just strangers on the street, making sure that they're treated as fairly as us. Yeah.
Now, I just want to know, this is the final bit, because I feel like this is really important. For other people who are looking to become allies, or they're searching, they're researching, and kind of not sure, like, the next steps to take, what advice would you give to your friends, your family? What advice would you give to them in order to kind of become more active in, one, becoming anti-racist, and also two, find out more about Black Lives Matter?
Definitely do the research yourself. Like, you need to look up like Black-owned businesses within your area that you can help support. You need to look for protests and all of that you can attend, to show your allyship out in public, I guess. And then obviously stand up for people without overstepping boundaries, and do it for the right reasons, not the wrong reasons.
Yeah, I completely agree with what Jenny just said, obviously, and it is all about the research, and it is really truly about what you're doing actively to educate yourself, and not expecting Black people to teach you. I think that's ridiculous that some people out there are literally like, oh well, Black people need to tell me what's up, they need to tell me what's up. No, that's not their responsibility. Those are their lived experiences. If you want to know, go and find out. Don't expect people to just tell you. And I think also doing the research, I listened to a lot of Akala's talks. I had the privilege of meeting him a couple of years back with Faustine, actually, and we went to his book launch, and he spoke about his experiences, and he spoke about systematic racism and systemic racism, and I learned a lot about that. And I think it's important to listen to people who are literally putting themselves out there for us to learn. Why else are they out there? They're literally trying to tell you what's wrong, and you can't just say, oh, I don't know anything about Black Lives Matter. There's so much content out there on YouTube. You could literally just type in how to be an ally. I mean, this series will come up hopefully as well, but you can type that in. You can type into Instagram. There's a page I follow for anyone, South Asians that are listening right now. There's a page on Instagram I follow called Asians for Black Lives, and that's really informative, and it helps me directly understand, not just as white people, but for me as an Asian to understand how I can help and how I can be of support with my own experiences and privileges, And I think it's important to realize what your privilege is and how much you can do, because it's countless. I feel like there's no way I could stop doing stuff. You know what I mean? I could help out in every way possible, and I haven't yet. Do you know what I mean? I could be doing so much more, and I haven't yet. And I think that's how we have to hold ourselves accountable. We should be donating. We should be speaking up. We should be attending protests. We should be, making Instagram posts about it. I know a lot of people were sharing things as well, but I mean, what does that do really? I mean, you are sharing things and it shows your support. I understand completely, but you need to be doing way more than that. You should be writing your own posts. Maybe if you want to be a social media activist, you should be, doing your own podcast, literally like you're doing now, but maybe, allies should be doing this, rather than you. But I think it's brilliant you are doing it, obviously, but I think any allies listening right now, it's our responsibility, not Black people's.
Everyone be safe, love each other, and don't give up the fight. Keep on keeping on. Keep your head to the sky. Keep on walking forward. Do not be pushed down in any way, shape or form. Don't allow anybody to push you down in any way, shape or form. I'm Black and I'm proud.
Yes, girl, say it again. So thank you so much. I really, really appreciate having your voice, having Jenny's voice on here. Jenny had to go back to work. Thank you, Jenny. I really appreciate having you on here. You're amazing. Ariya, thank you so much. You know how much of a big fan I am of you. And yeah, as I said previously at the beginning of this episode, make sure you guys go and check out Ariya. If you are not subscribed, basically after you finish listening to this, just go and subscribe to her. Just go and do it. I ain't playing. I'm not playing any games. Just go subscribe.
It's free, guys. Come on, come subscribe.
Honestly, it's free. It's simple. It costs you nothing. it's great. Also, as I've been saying throughout the whole of this mini-series, obviously with all of this Black Lives Matter movement, it is quite stressful. It's a lot. So if any people who are listening, who are going to protests or they are doing activism or anything, you are having issues with your mental health, there are links in the description that you can go to get any free services to help with mental health, because no one should have to struggle alone, because this is a lot. Seeing Black trauma, seeing people murdered on social media is a lot to deal with. So please get the help you need. A lot of it is free, or it is like fairly minimal. So please do go and check it out, because we want you to get the services and the help that you deserve and need. Ariya, thank you so much again for being on here. And yes, guys, thank you again for listening. The next episode of Fantastic Allies and Where to Find Them, episode 2. I know, like, I'm so proud of that title. I cannot wait for you guys to meet the amazing people that we have on that episode. We're all about diversity on this podcast, so we're trying to speak to as many different people, as many different backgrounds as possible, because it's important. Being an ally isn't just because you are South Asian, or just because you are white, or just because you're male or female. Like, we want to get the whole situation, like, one for all people. So that is what we're trying to do with this allyship section. So thank you so much for listening or watching, depending on where you are. And yeah, we will see you very, very soon. Bye.
Bye, guys.
Bye.